Alrighty guys, welcome back to the Airs Cloud YouTube channel. My name is Aram Herrera and I'm here to help you build your wealth, build your brand, and build a better life. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about the 2021 real estate market and whether or not it's a good idea to be investing or buying real estate, why or why not, what the pros and cons are, how the overall market is looking and who it's favoring, and how you can come out on top. Stay tuned. So the first bit of the video, we're going to talk a little bit about why the market is the way it is, who is coming out on top, who has the power, who has the leverage, and basically without, wasting too much time, it's a seller's market, okay? Now, I can't speak for the entire country of the United States, how the real estate market is for everything, but in my market here in Santa Fe and in Albuquerque as well, and I think in a lot of other markets, it's a huge seller's market. And basically, and I'll put some little text down here kind of showing what that is, but a seller's market is basically when there are not enough listings on the market. There's not enough homes, but there's a surplus of buyers and people who are looking to buy real estate. Okay, so it's just supply and demand, basic economics there. So supply is low, demand is high. Now, how does this affect the real estate market? You might guess that it inflates the prices. Okay, so prices have been going up steadily since the pandemic has hit, right? So once inventory gets lower, demand gets higher. That means people are willing to pay a premium or pay a little bit more money to actually purchase real estate. Now, this can be a good reason. It also could be a bad idea for some people, right? So the thing about real estate is it's totally 100% dependent upon you. Okay, it's dependent upon the person. Okay, so not everybody is going to have the same circumstances, for their situation, right? For myself, I was looking to purchase a real estate investment. Okay, I was looking to purchase a rental property so I could start accumulating them under my belt and start generating some passive income, some cash flow from those properties. So for myself, this was a good time to buy a rental property. I'm actually closing on my first one tomorrow, and I will definitely be making a video about my experience with that, how I was able to find it, how I actually ended up using owner financing to secure the deal. Now, for investors, it's a good time to look into purchasing real estate because the rates are extremely low, and I'll overlay a couple of images so you can see the differences between the rate that is current, which is like 2.99%, versus what we had a couple of years ago, which was closer to like the 4 or 5, and you can get higher 6s and 7s, right? So I'll put an overlay here, and then I'll put one here so you can see the difference between the monthly payment and the total payment over the 30 years, if we're working with the 30 years. Again, it depends on your situation, but I'll put that so you can see that. So back to what I was saying, now is a good time for investors to purchase because you can secure a low rate. You may have to pay a little bit of a premium in the form of competing against other buyers because there's such high demand. But if you have your ducks in a row, if you have your credit score at a good point, and you have your debt to income ratio kind of figured out, these are facets to building your financial profile that are extremely important, and I'll definitely talk about this in another video. I know I have a lot of ideas for other videos. I'm really excited to share all of that with you, but what I can say in terms of getting your financial profile kind of where it needs to be is definitely just speak with a lender, guys. It doesn't cost anything. Literally go on Google, look up best lender in my area, and just give them a call. Talk to them and just say, hey, this is who I am, this is how old I am, this is my financial profile, here's my credit score, here's my debt to income. And they'll literally just assess your whole situation, and they'll be able to figure out, okay, this person is able to afford X amount. And another thing you can tell them too is, what is your monthly payment that you're most comfortable with? And that's huge because you have to have a monthly payment that you're actually comfortable paying, okay? Now, if you get into a deal where, you don't know what you're doing, and suddenly you take out this huge loan and for this house that you can't even afford, it's important to take a step back and think about, okay, maybe budget out all your expenses and all of your assets, okay, like per month on a monthly basis, and figure out what am I comfortable paying. Once you figure that out, definitely let the lender know also, so they can figure out, they can crunch their numbers and figure, what plan is going to work best for you, what interest rate you'll actually qualify for. And the most important thing is, of course, getting the pre-qualification letter so you're actually able to begin your search, which now is incredibly important because the demand is so high and the competition is so fierce. Okay, so for investors, it's a good idea if you have your ducks in a row. Now we're going to kind of shift over to the other side of the spectrum, which is the person who is maybe just looking to put a roof over their head, right? So this is going to be different, So this is somebody who might be looking to go from renting a place to owning a place of their own. So I'm going to break it down kind of how the market is looking right now. It's a little bit more difficult, if this is something that you want to do, for a couple of reasons. The biggest reason is that because inventory is so low, you may have to settle for a home that maybe doesn't check all your boxes. And for me personally, this would be a turnoff, right? Because if I want the view and I want the 3-bedroom in this certain area, that's what I want. I don't want to have to compromise. And, this is why it's important that you speak with your real estate agent and you let them know, be very upfront, be very clear about what you want in a house, list out your must-haves. I want this, I want a pool, I want a view, I want, a 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom, whatever, I want to be in this area. Make sure that you have your vision kind of crystal clear. And give your real estate agent as much information as you can. That way they can sit you down and say, okay, these are the actual options. This is what you can actually expect. Because, we work with a lot of people here that have kind of unrealistic expectations. And that's why it's important that we ask them up front, what are you actually looking for in a home? So that way we can help you figure out, a home that'll actually fit your needs, okay? So that's kind of that's a big con with the market right now as a buyer who's just looking for a home to live in for the foreseeable future. Now, of course, it's the same as the investors, right? So if you have your ducks in a row, obviously, then yeah, it's a good opportunity. But you have to be willing to perhaps also pay a premium, in the form of competition. Okay, so if you get into a bidding war, you kind of have to be prepared. How much do I really want this house? Am I gonna have to fork out $5,000, $10,000 more? Am I gonna have to cover the closing costs, the seller closing costs? What type of negotiations can you actually make to make your offer stand out that much more? Which is again why it's very important that you work with a realtor and have your pre-qualification letter ready. I've had a situation before where I was helping a man find a property in this town called Los Alamos here in New Mexico. And when the listing agent had actually listed the property, she had put in the agent remarks that they would be reviewing all of the offers on a certain date at a certain time because they knew because the shortage of housing was so low that they would receive multiple offers. Now that's, as a listing agent, that's best case scenario. And sellers, so that's why sellers have the advantage right now, because if they list their property in a place that doesn't have any properties, of course you're going to get people jumping on the house, right? So in this case, we were actually able to win the offer. We negotiated it. We got pretty in depth with it, the way we structured the purchase agreement and, the amendment, and we bulleted everything out for the seller. So it was abundantly clear how we were distinguishing ourselves from the competition. And we beat out like 12 other offers. And, of course, my client was super happy. He secured his first house. So these are things that you have to be aware of when you're going to be purchasing real estate in a seller's market like this. You have to be ready to go to battle. You have to be ready to get blood on your boots, because you're going to be competing against others There could be people that have cash offers on the table. You just don't know. So that's why it's important that you prepare yourself as much as you can. And the most attractive thing about the market right now is the low rates. So first and foremost, I would say get your ducks in a row, speak to a lender, figure out what you need to do to get your financial profile on point. So you're ready to go, because if you're just kind of willy-nilly looking at houses and you're like, oh yeah, let's go look at this one, and then you try and write an offer, the seller is probably not even going to consider it unless you have a pre-qualification letter. Okay, so those are a couple things to expect from the real estate market in 2021. I know the video is kind of brief. Just wanted to kind of show you, or prepare you rather for what to expect if you do actually try and buy a house in 2021. So that being said, thank you again so much for watching the video. As always, I'm eternally grateful for your attention and your viewership, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Peace out.